And 2 weeks after like all that, I find out my ex-girlfriend's pregnant. I'm having my
Man.
daughter. I was just like, I was stuck, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And my parents, it was like, you was begging us to go out there and do your thing hooping. I'm thinking, I got to go back to the crib now and be a dad. Hooping is done for me.
You thought she was
Bro,
done?
I thought it was done, bro. Everybody I knew that had kids young, like, was done hooping, bro.
But you didn't have, they weren't you though. Like,
Who welcomed you to the NBA?
One of the coldest moments in my first year, KD coming down.
Did.
You know, KD, when he comes up to the 3-point line, he live with a hezzy pull anytime.
Yes, sir. You got to think about it.
Killian Hayes, he trailing. KD don't even see him for real. I see he about to pull up. I jump before he even gets into a shot. Killian flying in, KD shoots it, bro. Before it even went in, he said, "Oh, on both y'all."
Oh, my God. Ain't no game plan for him.
At 17 years old, Cade Cunningham was ready to quit basketball. Not because he wasn't good enough, not because the dream was fading, but because life had just handed him something that made basketball feel completely irrelevant. He had lost his best friend, then his uncle, then another close friend. 3 people in 1 year. And somewhere in the middle of all that grief, he found out he was going to be a father. Still in high school, still a teenager, still trying to figure out who he was. In that moment, the NBA didn't feel like a possibility. It felt like a distraction. And the decision he almost made, to walk away from all of it and just go home, would have ended one of the most interesting careers in the league before it ever started. This is the part of the story people skip over when they talk about Cade Cunningham. And it's the part that explains everything else. Before basketball was even part of the picture, football was supposed to be his future. His father, Keith Cunningham, had been one of the top high school quarterbacks in the country in the 1980s. A scholarship to Texas Tech was locked in. The NFL didn't feel far away. Then a ceiling fan fell at home, damaged the tendons in his throwing arm, and just like that, the career was over before it started. Cade grew up with that story, and from a young age, he looked like the version of his father that got to finish the journey. He was reading defenses in middle school, leading teams to undefeated seasons in 7th and 8th grade, staying calm in pressure situations in ways that made coaches stop and take notice. At 13, he got the chance to practice with the Dallas Cowboys, a teenager on the same field as professional players, and he didn't look out of place. Reports came back about his accuracy, his composure, the maturity in how he processed the game. Everything pointed toward football, but it never felt like his dream. His older brother Cannon was already making a name for himself on the basketball court, and those one-on-one games between them were building something competitive inside Cade. Football was impressive on paper. Basketball was what actually made him feel something. In 9th grade, he quit football completely. No backup plan, no safety net, just a belief that basketball was the right direction. The problem was he was already behind. Most top prospects had been playing organized ball for years. Cade was starting late, and it showed. He began his high school career as a power forward, same position as his brother, and it worked at first. Then a doctor told him he wouldn't grow tall enough to stay at that position at the highest level. If he wanted the NBA, he had to become a point guard. That transition was harder than it sounds. Point guard is the most demanding position on the floor. You run the offense, control tempo, read defenses, and make decisions for everyone. Cade didn't have years of experience at the position. He had the summer before his junior year. He used it. Football had already shaped how he saw the game. Reading defenses as a quarterback translated directly to reading defensive rotations on the court. His leadership was already built. His toughness was already there. He had size advantages over most guards, which meant he could see over defenders and absorb contact without backing off. That summer, he focused on mastering the pick and roll from every angle until it became automatic. And slowly, it clicked. But just when things were finally coming together on the court, life started breaking down everywhere else. His best friend, Kyson White, died. Then his uncle. Then another close friend. 3 losses in 1 year. The kind of weight that doesn't lift quickly and doesn't leave you the same. Basketball stopped feeling important. The game that once gave him energy felt distant, empty. Then came the news that he was going to be a father at 17. And that was it. He made the decision. He was going to quit basketball, go home, and take care of his daughter. The NBA could wait, or it could just not happen. Either way, he had a responsibility that felt more real than any dream. His family wouldn't let him. They stepped in and took care of his daughter, giving Cade something he didn't realize he needed, the time to keep going. Not because basketball was more important than fatherhood, but because finishing what he started with their support behind him was actually possible. That changed everything about how he played. He wasn't just chasing a personal goal anymore. Every game carried a different kind of meaning. And when he transferred to Montverde Academy in Florida, one of the most competitive high school programs in the country, stacked with future NBA players, he walked in and immediately took control. He didn't force shots, didn't try to dominate with individual moves. He just made the right decision every single time, slowing the game down when it needed calm, speeding it up when defenses overcommit, finding teammates in positions they didn't even know they'd get to. Montverde went undefeated. Cade was named National Player of the Year and Mr. Basketball USA, the best high school player in the country, and instead of choosing Duke or Kentucky, he picked Oklahoma State. Close to home, close to his daughter, because that logic now drove every decision he made. At Oklahoma State, without a loaded roster around him, everything ran through Cade. Around 20 points, strong rebounds, high-level playmaking, and when scouts questioned his shooting, he answered at 40% from three and over 80% from the line. Conference Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, All-American. By the end of his one college season, there was no debate left. He was going to the NBA as the #1 pick, and then reality hit. He missed training camp with an injury. No rhythm, no momentum. When he finally debuted, the numbers were rough. Defenses were tighter than anything he'd faced. The speed was different, and before he even had time to adjust, the word started showing up: bust. He fought through it. By the end of his rookie year, the numbers looked solid, around 17 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. But the team was losing constantly, and the next season was cut short by a serious injury. Then in his third year came the moment that defined a different kind of test. The Detroit Pistons lost 28 straight games, the longest losing streak in NBA history. Cade was playing well individually, scoring more, creating more, improving every game, but none of it showed up in the win column. And eventually, it started showing up in his mind. Late nights, no sleep, reading comments online, hearing the criticism repeat itself until it started to feel like truth. For the first time in his life, he doubted himself. That's when he made the decision that changed the trajectory of everything. He stopped feeding the noise. No more scrolling through criticism at midnight. No more letting other people's opinions sit in his head rent-free. He locked into his routine, his preparation, and the one thing that had gotten him through every other hard moment, the work itself. And at the same time, the Pistons made moves that actually helped him. New leadership, a new coach, players who could space the floor and make defenses pay for collapsing on him. For the first time in his NBA career, he had room to operate, and he used every inch of it. His scoring jumped, his efficiency improved, his playmaking reached a level that started generating comparisons to all-time greats in terms of statistical production at his age. He earned his first All-Star selection. The team climbed from one of the worst records in the league to a genuine playoff contender. In the postseason, against a tough New York Knicks squad, he played like someone who had been waiting for that stage. 25-plus points, high-level playmaking, controlling tempo. He looked like the best player on the floor in stretches. The bust conversation was officially over. Now the conversation is different. He's 24 years old, improving in every area, leading a franchise that nobody was taking seriously a couple of years ago, and he's still not at his ceiling. The kid who almost walked away from football because it didn't feel right, who almost walked away from basketball because life felt too heavy, who survived losing streaks, injuries, grief, and doubt that would have finished most people. He's still here, still getting better, still building towards something that hasn't fully arrived yet. And if his story has shown anything, it's that every time someone counted him out, it turned out to be too early. If you've been watching his rise, drop your thoughts below. How far do you think he actually goes from here? And subscribe if you want more stories like this one, because the best chapters in this career are still ahead.